Black State immediately feels like a game that wants to keep you on edge from the very first moment. It's a single-player, third-person action shooter built around tension, speed, and constant uncertainty. There's no co-op focus here, no safety in numbers. This is a solo experience where every step forward feels like a calculated risk, and the game makes sure you never feel fully in control of what's coming next. The premise pulls you in quickly. You're summoned by a secret scientific organization for a mission that's deliberately vague, and that mystery never really lets up. Your task sounds simple on paper: rescue captives and uncover the truth behind a catastrophic event. But the deeper you go, the clearer it becomes that nothing in Black State is straightforward. Every location feels hostile, every corridor feels watched, and every decision carries weight. The story doesn't dump information on you all at once. Instead, it reveals itself piece by piece, pulling you forward with unanswered questions rather than clear objectives. Visually, Black State is striking. The graphics lean heavily into high-contrast lighting, sharp reflections, and detailed environments that feel clean but unsettling. It's the kind of visual style that looks polished and modern, but also cold and clinical, which fits perfectly with the game's tone. Metallic surfaces, dark corridors, flickering lights, and sudden bursts of color during combat all combine to create a strong sense of atmosphere. Performance also feels like a priority here, with smooth motion and responsive controls that support the fast-paced nature of the gameplay. What really sets the game apart, though, is the portal door system. These aren't just doors leading to another hallway or room. When you open a portal door, you're instantly transported to a completely different location with no loading screens and no warning. One moment you're in a tight, enclosed space, and the next you're somewhere vast, exposed, or deeply dangerous. That instant transition keeps you constantly alert. You never know if the next door will bring progress or drop you straight into chaos. This mechanic does more than just look impressive. It fundamentally changes how you play. You can't relax after clearing a room because safety is never guaranteed. Every door feels like a gamble. It creates a rhythm of tension and release that keeps the experience unpredictable and engaging, even during quieter moments. Combat is fast, aggressive, and highly tactical. Tactical gadgets add another layer to the gameplay. These tools let you approach encounters in different ways, whether you prefer stealth, crowd control, or all-out destruction. Gadgets are quick to deploy and intuitive to use, but they're not one-known solutions. Some enemies shrug off certain tools, forcing you to adapt rather than rely on a single strategy. The game constantly encourages experimentation without ever letting you feel overpowered. Time manipulation plays an important role during intense moments. When time slows down, the game shifts into a more deliberate, almost cinematic state, where positioning and decision-making become critical. These moments aren't just flashy effects. They're opportunities to turn overwhelming situations into survivable ones, if you stay calm and think clearly. Panic is punished, but smart play is rewarded. Enemies in Black State are relentless. Human forces and Robo-Sapien units don't just stand around waiting to be shot. They flank, coordinate, and apply pressure from multiple angles. Hiding for too long often makes things worse, as enemies adapt and push you out of cover. Some enemies feel almost predatory, hunting you rather than reacting to you. This creates constant forward momentum, forcing you to keep moving and making decisions under pressure. Close quarters combat is another standout element. With over 100 brutal takedowns, melee encounters feel dynamic and responsive to your surroundings. These aren't static animations. Takedowns change depending on where you are, how you approach an enemy, and what's happening in the environment. Whether you're silently eliminating a guard from behind cover or finishing an enemy mid-fight, these moments feel personal and visceral. Boss fights deserve special attention. They're not just bigger enemies with more health. Each boss has a unique fighting style and forces you to rethink how you approach combat. Some bosses dominate long-range encounters, making it dangerous to stay back. Others pressure you aggressively, leaving no room to create distance. You're constantly pushed to learn patterns, adapt strategies, and stay flexible. Trying to brute force these fights usually ends badly. What makes these boss encounters memorable is how they test everything you've learned so far. Weapon choice, gadget use, movement, timing, and awareness all come together. Victory feels earned, not scripted, and failure often teaches you exactly what you did wrong. Narratively, Black State thrives on mystery. The story is layered and emotional, but it never spells everything out. You're encouraged to question the motives of the organization you're working for and the true nature of the catastrophe you're investigating. Some doors reveal horrifying truths, while others deepen the mystery even further. The game plays with trust and uncertainty, making you constantly reevaluate what you think you know. There's a strong sense of psychological tension throughout the experience. Even when combat isn't happening, the game makes you feel uneasy. Sound design plays a huge role here, with distant noises, mechanical hums, and sudden silence all contributing to the atmosphere. You're rarely comfortable, and that discomfort feels intentional. What stands out most about Black State is how cohesive it feels. The visuals, mechanics, story, and pacing all support the same core idea: uncertainty. You're never fully prepared, you're never completely safe, and that feeling drives the entire experience forward. It's not just about shooting enemies or unlocking new areas. It's about stepping through doors without knowing what's waiting on the other side. By the time you've spent several hours with the game, it becomes clear that Black State isn't trying to be a power fantasy. It's about survival, awareness, and adaptation. It rewards players who stay alert, experiment with tools, and learn from failure. Every encounter feels like a test, and every success feels meaningful. Black State is the kind of game that sticks with you, not because of a single mechanic or moment, but because of how it makes you feel: tense, curious, and constantly on edge. If you're ready for a fast-paced, visually striking third-person shooter that challenges your reflexes and your instincts while pulling you into a deep and mysterious world, then the real question isn't what's behind the next door. It's whether you're brave enough to open it.
Enemy spotted!
This ain't Army standard.
Get down!
Looks like you were right. These plans show the first strikes, before the war even started.
So who did they do it for?
They staged the attacks to make it look like each side hit the other, and sent strikes to every faction. Which means they don't work for any of them. Send us a detailed scan, then we can find out who's pulling Black Skull's strings. Find the power source. Those doors won't open without it, and they're holding the data we need. Stay alert. It's packed with hostiles.
Understood. Gotta see what this lab is for.
Hold up. Enemy here!